Hi, my name is Nyaradzo Chauruva of My Money Project, and today I want us to look at having a spending plan. A spending plan, also known as a budget, can sound intimidating at first. It feels like it is so restrictive, and one can wonder, how do we even speak of financial freedom and talk of budgeting or spending plan at the same time? So today I want us to look at how budgeting actually promotes financial freedom. And I have 7 points that I'm going to take you through as I go through this one. The first one being that a financial plan gives clarity and control over your finances. So when you know how much is coming in, it becomes easier also to know how much will be going out. Have you ever heard of people who wonder where their money has gone midway through the month? It's like the money developed wings and flew away. But the spending plan actually helps to prevent that from happening because you know exactly where every dollar is going. The second point is that it promotes intentional spending. When you have a spending plan, you may come up with other things that are outside of your spending plan, and that will give you the power to say, no, this I'm not going to do because it was not on my spending plan. This often happens, especially when it comes to family issues. Maybe a relative or someone comes up and says, no, we are going to go to such and such a place, we need to pay for this. But if you had not put it on your spending plan, it gives you that power to say, unfortunately, I do not have the money right now. Maybe we can look at this one in the next month. So you see, a spending plan actually gives you financial freedom rather than restricting you. And also, it prevents overspending. We as human beings tend to overspend. And depending on what is happening at that point, it could be out of excitement, you end up spending more than you thought you were going to spend. Or it can come out from pressure because you want to please the next person. And you end up spending more than you had planned to do. But when you have a spending plan, again, it gives you that power to say, okay, this was not on the plan, and so I will not be able to do this. However, sometimes, of course, you can realign your budget amounts. Maybe you had set aside $50 for entertainment, and there is something you feel, I think I should really contribute to this thing and give my $10 to it. What that means is you are now taking $10 from your entertainment budget and putting it onto whatever else that is. And so you do not expect to still get entertainment of $50 because you know that you have already taken out that amount. So you see, a spending plan actually helps you not to overspend. Again, a spending plan helps you to enable goal achievements. You probably have goals that you have. Maybe your goal is to own an iPhone 16 or whatever the latest model is by the end of the year. It will enable you to set aside a specific amount every month so that you can attain your goal. So when you finally buy your iPhone, no one should be judging you because you've been preparing for it from the beginning of the year. Moving on to step number 5, actually not the point number 5. Having a spending plan helps to reduce stress. We know that money issues can be very stressful, but especially if you do not know where your money is going. So having a spending plan actually helps to reduce stress and as a result stop all stress-related ailments. The sixth point is that having a spending plan supports generosity. On my budget, I personally have a line for generosity. So I know that when someone calls on me for help, I have a certain line that I can pay from. But when that money is exhausted, unfortunately, I will not be able to help beyond what I have already put. So you see, having a spending plan actually encourages you to be more generous. And lastly, it creates space for enjoyment. Sometimes we feel like there's no money to have fun. But do you know you can actually have a line on your spending plan written fun? And this is for you to just have fun. If you're a person who loves to watch movies or you love to go out with your friends, you put it on there. But when that line is exhausted, guess what? You are free to say, I do not have money for this. And so you see, a spending plan is not restrictive, but it actually enables you to have financial freedom. Practical steps to budget for your freedom. How do you actually end up with a spending plan? Could be the question that you are asking yourself. How do I even get started? You need to track your spending. At least know on a monthly basis, how do you spend? What is, if we were looking at a pattern, how is the pattern of your spending on a month to month basis? We do have different categories we can look at, and we can look at your fixed expenses, those which you know come rain, come sunshine, you will have to pay them. Then there are variable expenses, which you know it will depend. It will depend. If I am to go out, I am likely to spend so much. But if I do not do this, I am unlikely to incur any expenses. So we have the fixed expenses and we have the variable expenses. And then we can also make use of the 50-30-20 rule. And this I have also made reference to it in the past. This is basically to say, what are your needs? What are your wants? And how much can you put towards savings, generosity, or investments? Normally 50% we channel it towards our needs. What is this that you cannot live without? Those are your needs. We're looking at maybe accommodation, looking at your rentals, looking at your groceries. So 50% of what you earn should be channeled towards your needs. Then we look at your wants. These are the things that you can actually do without, but are just nice to have. Things like your DSTV, forgive me for saying that, but these are things that probably you can survive without these for a couple of months as you recover, if you need to recover financially. And then we talk of the 20%, which I'm saying for your generosity. It helps you to also put aside money to save and to put aside money to give. However, when you are in a debt cycle, I always encourage people to shift these figures. 50 for your needs, 30 for your debt repayment, savings, generosity, and then 20 for your wants. So after tracking your spending, you need to prioritize your needs over your wants. What are your needs and what are your wants? It's very important that you put a clear demarcation of these two. Sometimes we think these are needs, meanwhile, they're actually not needs. Maybe you feel, no, I actually need to have airtime to buy, to always be able to call. But is it really a need or it's a want? So you must be very clear. And again, these depend on individuals. So there's no one size fits all. A need to one may not necessarily be a need to another. And lastly, as you do build your as your spending plan, build in flexibility. I did mention that sometimes you also just want to have fun. But if you do not build in the flexibility, you will be stranded. You won't be able to have fun. Build in that for emergencies. When there's an emergency, you don't want to be stranded. So make sure in your budget you have, I mentioned the portion for savings, so that you know if you hear there's a funeral at such a place, you can easily get money and travel and go and mourn with your loved ones. So in a nutshell, I think you have already seen that indeed a spending plan is actually one of the most important tools for you to attain financial freedom.